All right, folks, listen, before we get into the stories that we've got lined up over here in the sidebar, a new piece of news kind of broke this morning that we should talk about here for a second. Now, last week, we discussed how, very sadly, as film fans, Quentin Tarantino has decided not to shoot his new upcoming Western film, The Hateful Eight, because he felt really violated that out of a small group of 4 people or 6 people, that I think it was probably 6, that he showed the script to, and then got out and a whole bunch of Hollywood agents had it. And he felt so violated by that that he wasn't going to make the movie anymore. Well, it's now not just in the hands of agents, it's now online. And Gawker Media, through one of their sites, I can't remember which one, I think it's Defamer, but actually put up a link to the script, encouraging people, hey, you can go read Quentin Tarantino's Hateful Eight script here. Just click on it and go watch it, or go read it. Quentin Tarantino, and now through his attorneys, have announced they are suing Gawker, both for monetary damages and infringement. And this raises a lot of very interesting questions about the law. I think we're going to learn a lot about the law and how it's going to be interpreted today. But also, even outside of a legal point of view, just an ethics point of view, is providing a link to copyrighted material that is not hosted on Gawker's own servers, is that a violation of copyright? And that's really going to be the big question that comes up here and becomes looked at. And I'll just give you my opinion up front, and then I'd love to hear what you guys hear about this. I am brutally against piracy. I always have been. Piracy is theft. There's no way around it, no way to argue it. It just is. And anybody who tries to argue about it is just trying to defend the fact that they want to be thieves. Now, I've also always been very, very against how Gestapo-ish the MPAA has gone after suing 13-year-old kids in their bedrooms downloading movies, when really their attention should be put to, the people who sneak into theaters with movie cameras and the people who have legal screeners and disseminate it out to people. I've always been against how hard they go after just the average person in their living room downloading something. But that does not take away the fact that piracy is stealing. Just is. You can't argue it, and if you try to argue it, you're an idiot. It just is. So, but this situation with Gawker, my initial feeling is this, and this is just after thinking about it for about an hour. My initial thought is this, is if there's a piece of an illegally, acquired piece of intellectual property out there that Quentin Tarantino slaved over, he wrote that, he poured his heart and his passion into it and created this script, not meant for people just to have wherever for free to read, and you encourage, promote, and make available illegal distribution of that material, my initial feeling is, yeah, you're liable. Yeah, you are responsible. I mean, there's a difference. And one of his lawyers made a pretty interesting quote in the Hollywood Reporter story about this, basically saying, look, Gawker didn't just say, oh, by the way, this is where you can see Tarantino's script. They go out of their way to promote exclusive. Here, you can download, go read and enjoy, and put up a link to where you can get it. So, and they profit from this. From all the Gawker gets all this traffic, so they profit from it. They're making money from this. I think Tarantino has a case here, but you guys could probably easily change my mind on this. So I don't know, Dennis, how do you see this right now?
I'm glad he did it. I mean, I'm glad he's suing them.
Right.
I don't think it's right, especially for a company like Gawker that has so many different websites and has and like influences so many people, and getting people, if they just did a article about the script being leaked, that'd be fine. And even saying that, I think even in an article just saying there's ways to find it, I think even that's, in a nice gray area where you can get away with it. But putting an actual link to it, I think that crosses the line. It's different than, I know it's just as illegal as me sending an email with, let's say, that script attached to you. That's still illegal, but it's just a different level. And so I'm glad that Tarantino's doing it.
Schnepp, what about you?
I think you brought up a really good point in that Gawker is profiteering off of this. They're making money. So it's when money exchanges is when legal action can be taken. Case in point, a friend of mine who's a painter just posted that this person is taking his paintings, making posters of them, and selling them on Etsy. which is completely illegal. And the biggest problem with that is it's wrong. It's just straight up wrong. You're taking profits out of an artist's pocket and using them to profit for yourself with no retribution for the artist. Quentin Tarantino, in this case, is the artist, and Gawker is the thief. So, you know, whatever monies they're making as far as people clicking on, click-throughs, clicks per view, you know, that should then be paid back to Quentin Tarantino. Like, in, you know, I guess obviously it'll be taken in the court of law. We'll see what happens. But I'm with Tarantino on this. It's an invasion of trust. First with his 6 friends, and now with the world.
Yeah.
So,
Aaron?
Well, I see it as an intellectual property issue, really. I mean, it wasn't theirs to distribute, and it wasn't public information or public material that could be accessed any other way. So I do feel bad for him. I think it's a violation of his intellectual property rights, and they had no right to distribute that content without his permission.
Yeah, no, some people are trying to make a claim. It's like, well, wait a minute. Gawker they didn't go into Quentin Tarantino's house and steal, you know, the script, and they're not hosting it on their servers. But to me, that's like making this argument. I didn't steal all the goods from my neighbor's house. Yes, I went over, opened the door, and told everybody coming by, hey, no one's home, and there's a big 60-inch TV in there, and held the door open for them. It's not my fault. Well, yeah, it is your fault. You are involved. You're liable. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this all works out and see how the case law comes into play here. So I'm curious to see how this plays out.
I think as fans, though, we lose out just on a
Oh,
fan
we
level.
do.
Well, because I think
Yeah.
that when the agents leaked the script and violated his trust, I think he got very upset. But I think that he would have gotten over that and come back to the script to do.
Right.
But now that it's public to everyone, I think it's less likely now.
also, we could look at it from the flip side of that. Now that it's public and everyone's hyper aware of this script that, you know, is now a big dust up about reading it, when he actually publishes it, he might sell 5 million copies.
Oh, sure.
So let's hope that happens. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, this would not deter his ability to make money off of this project. I think that it would still be successful. People would still go see this movie if he decided to go through production and make it tomorrow, next year, in 2 years. Maybe he will actually shelf this project and get back to it later. So there's always that possibility too, but I don't think that Gawker would be responsible for, I guess, hurting that project financially.
No, I was actually saying the opposite. I was saying they're helping promote the actual script that he's going to publish, I think, inadvertently. I think now there's more eyes on the interest in wanting to read it. And probably from a fan's perspective, I'd rather buy the official version that Tarantino puts out through whatever book publisher than just to, you know, steal it online. Right. So.
If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to AMC Movie News on YouTube. It's free and a great way to stay updated with all the latest movie news, and check out our daily show, AMC Movie Talk. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter to stay in the loop for our special prizes, giveaways, and contests.